Guys, I'm Jess. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining. I hope that you find this video helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you get more videos like it. I've been getting some requests about showing what I'm doing in Procreate, with my actual hands. So I decided to do something different today. I'm hoping that the video quality looks okay to you guys. I know that it's probably at some points a little bit shaky due to my tripod and being up high, so we'll see how this goes and see if this is something that we end up doing in the future. I do want to apologize in advance. When I started this video, it was 6 a.m. and my kids were sleeping, but you'll see at one point they wake up and join and start whining a little bit, and I kind of just ignored them so that I could get through it. So I do apologize for that. We will go ahead and get started. Again, I hope that you find this helpful, and don't hesitate to leave any questions or comments in the comment section below. Okay, so I'm gonna hope that this stays put through this video. So I've received some requests sort of see closer, what my hands are doing in Procreate, because there are some things that require finger gestures, and so I thought that maybe this would help. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create a new canvas, and I'm creating a 10 by 10 canvas that I've already created. I'll actually go back and show you guys just how to do that. So you're gonna hit the plus sign. You're gonna click this little sort of like drawer icon up here with the plus, and you're gonna choose your size. I typically do 10 by 10. It's gonna get me to 300 dpi. Just gonna give me a good quality image. If you want something bigger, you can absolutely go bigger. If you want something a specific size to paper that you're using, you can do that as well. But I'm gonna go ahead with 10 by 10 and click create. Anything that you've created is saved sort of in that list, which is why I was able to just click it. So now you have your blank canvas, and Procreate really has some great tools within it. So I will just kind of try to cover some things quickly for you. And if you have any specific questions, don't hesitate to ask. So here you've got your basics. You can add a file, a photo, take a photo, add text. You have your canvas itself. This here is your drawing guide. This can be really helpful if you're trying to straighten things out. You can flip your canvas, crop and resize, things like that. This is where you'll end up saving, or how you'll save in the end, how you'll share your image. And you can share just the image that you've created, or you can share all of the individual layers. This here gives you the opportunity to time-lapse replay everything that you've done within here, and I will show you guys that at the end. Time-lapse recording, just make sure that that stays on in case you end up wanting to look back to it, and then you can export it as well. Here's some preferences. We're not going to worry much about this. It just kind of changes your view. You can move your bar from the left to the right. I keep mine on the left. Your brush cursor, things like that. So we're just going to kind of leave those. Then these are some sort of adjustments that you make to the text or the images that you're working on. We don't have anything here, so we can't use it yet, but I'll show you some examples of that after. Selection tool. Again, this is your pointer tool. There's nothing here to choose. And then you have your brushes. I have a lot of brushes added in, and you won't see all of these initially, but there are plenty of free brushes that you can find. You just Google free Procreate brushes, and there's also paid ones as well. This is your smudge. Now your smudge can be the same as your brushes. You'll see that your brush itself, which is what you actually write with, your smudge, you can actually just smudge this, and your eraser all have the ability to be the same brush stroke, so that you can just kind of make things look even. This of course is not, because I'm just kind of scribbling, but I can show you how that looks as well, maybe in this video, maybe in another one. And then finally you have your layers, which are super important in Procreate, and then your colors. And there's a couple different ways that you can view these based on really personal preference. I stick with the disc. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're going to, I thought it might be fun to do a retro circle. They're pretty popular right now. I'm sure that there are some different ways to do this, but I'm going to show you how I do mine. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with black. And typically when I'm just kind of doing like a base for something or outlines, I often just use the Studio Pen, which is under inking, and this is included in Procreate. So one really great tip, so when you're drawing shapes, lines, for example, like a circle, right? This is very uneven. If you hold it down, you'll see it straighten out, but you'll see it's kind of the shape of an oval, if you can see well. But if you hold your finger here, that's gonna turn into a direct circle, and then you just let go. Okay, so if I were just to go like this and hold it, it would straighten it up, but it's an oval. If you want a perfect circle, which can be hard to do, you just finger tap it. So again, that circle, hold it, finger tap, turns it to a circle, and then you can also change your size. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and erase those last two things. And there's a lot of finger gestures in Procreate. Double tap is just undo. So I'm gonna undo these guys. All right, and then triple tap is redo. You can get them back. All right, so just a couple of useful tips. Okay, so another thing, when you're doing anything that you want to fill, right, like this circle, for example, if I wanted to fill it black, I could do that because my lines that I use to create the circle are not transparent. If they were, for example, if I go ahead and I make that transparent, draw my circle, it's not filling. And the reason for that is because my lines are transparent, so it's not perfectly solid and it's not gonna let me fill it up. So make sure when you're creating shapes that you're gonna wanna fill, that you do that. Good morning, buddy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move forward. Remember, our goal is to create that retro circle. And you can do this a couple of different ways. You can use a circle the entire time, which will duplicate and fill. Or to make things a little bit easier this time, I'm gonna try something different and we're gonna use a half circle. And so all I'm gonna do, I don't know why I had to turn that, so I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna sort of cut this circle. Just like you can do with circles, you can hold down and it will straighten, but you'll see I broke there. So I'm gonna just do that again. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it down, it's gonna straighten it for me. See, it's not totally closed here, so I'm gonna close that. Okay, now I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna erase the rest of this. Okay, now I've got my half circle. Now this is what I'm gonna use to recreate. So we're doing, Daddy's at work, baby. Okay, you know what, we're gonna switch things up. We're gonna do a whole circle and we'll just do more colors or thicker colors. All right, so we have our circle here. Now what we wanna do is we wanna go ahead and duplicate this. So to duplicate, you simply swipe left and click duplicate. And we're gonna duplicate, we're gonna make about 6 of these, maybe a few more, just to make sure we have enough. We can always delete them in the end. Okay, just to be safe. So we're gonna go ahead and choose our colors. So we'll just leave that bottom one. We're not gonna touch this bottom one yet. We're gonna start the next one up. And we're gonna choose some colors. This is completely up to you. You know, we'll maybe do like a... So I'm just gonna go through each layer here, choose the colors that I want. I'm just filling each layer a different color. You won't see the one below it because it's been covered by a new one. And I'm gonna do 5. So I've got the dark blue, the purple, the pink. We'll go to a lighter blue. And there's like no rhyme or reason right now to what I'm choosing. Maybe a green. Let's see how those look all together. Okay, so these are my 5 colors that I have. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these ones now. All right, so I'm gonna start with this top, this blue here. So with this, you know what, we can actually start with our green so you can see everything peel back. Hold on, baby, mommy's using it, okay? So we're gonna start with the green, and my goal is for the green to be the bottommost line on my circle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my eraser mark, and like I said, you use the same brush strokes with your eraser, unless you wanna use something else. But I'm gonna use the same, and the same rule applies for holding down and getting those straight lines and circles. So I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so I'm erasing. Now it looks like it's a blue line because the blue is the color below it, but it's just an eraser mark. So now I've erased this bottom piece here is what I'm keeping. So I'm gonna select the rest of this green with my freehand tool, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so right now I'm on freehand. That's why I'm able to just draw it like that. Now another finger gesture is to drag down with 3 fingers, and I'm gonna cut. Okay, so that removes the rest of the green. For the green layer, all I have is that bottom. Now I'm gonna go to my blue layer. My blue layer is going to be my second line. So I'm gonna get my eraser tool again. And now for my blue line, I'm going to do a line up. Again, I'm erasing, I'm holding down to get that line straight. And then that pink is the color below it. So I'm gonna get my selector tool. And I'm cutting that blue. All right, so next up is my pink. My pink is gonna be my next line. So I've got my eraser. Again, that purple is gonna be my next color. Straighten out my line. And you can adjust these if you need to after. I'll show you how to use the guiding. The guides can help you make sure this is straighter to begin with, and I'll show you that. So let's say I had my guides open. All right, you could kind of help keep track with your straight lines that way, but it just kind of gets in my way. So I'm gonna avoid it. So next, hold on one second, buddy, okay? Next up is purple. That's my next one. And it's gonna work perfectly for my number of colors. Just gonna straighten that out. And once you straighten your lines, you can straighten them just by holding and dragging a bit. Just watch your hand that's on your board. Sometimes it will click. Buddy, I need you to wait a minute, okay? So I'm just undoing to unclick this. All right, so now I've got my top one. And then for this very last one, I'm gonna go ahead. And now this here, it's gonna be a little bit smaller. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna erase this. See, there's white underneath because it's the final color. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start going the other way. And so for this one, I'm erasing down here. And I could have done that for the others too, to do both sides, but now that we're gonna go back and we're gonna create an invisible line in between. Or not an invisible line, but like an empty space. So now I'm going back to the purple. Super crooked, but the great thing is that you can fix that. Using my selector tool. And then we can go back and make these lines more even afterwards too. Just kind of roughly getting our lines. And all I'm doing now is cutting the bottom piece so that each color has only a stripe. That's what happens when you start things while your kids are still sleeping, and then they wake up. And blue. And then our green was the first one, so the green one is good because it's all that we have there. So I'm just gonna get rid of this blue. Again, you of course can't see it because they're layered and they're below, but we want to get rid of it anyway. Okay, so now we've got this, and you'll see that it's kind of getting to where we want it. All right, so now we've got a ton of things going on because Mom likes, so I'm gonna hope that you guys can hear me okay. Now we've got all of our lines the way you want them. And again, if you wanted to make your white lines more even, you could. You would just go through each layer and even them out. So before we bring this all together and merge our layers, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna sort of give this like a grungy look. And this is, again, it's totally optional. If you wanna keep it like this, you can. But this is gonna show you guys how to use those clipping masks as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through each layer. We're gonna start with the green. I'm gonna add a layer above it. I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna hit clipping mask. Okay, this is gonna make it so that anything that we do is only gonna show up on this layer. So we could draw all over the screen. You won't see it. But if you click on here, you see it in that layer. It's just not over the green part, and that's what we want. I'm gonna just clear it real quick. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and change our pen, and we're gonna go to grunge, and this is under textures. This comes within Procreate. And in order to make this show, what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on the color, and I like to go lighter. So this is exactly the color that it's on right now. But if we just go a little bit this way, kind of play around, use your color here to help you out. This is what I like. So we're like a white mix of what we have originally. So my grunge pen is the size that I want. It's really big right now. If it's too big, we can always just undo and go smaller. But so if you see there, and here's what I'm actually gonna do, because I want this top layer above. I don't want to see any, there we go. All right, so, actually I changed my mind. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of roughly draw there, and you'll see if you can, there's like, sort of like fading. Now you do want to make sure that you get those edges. That's going to avoid black lines at the end on the outside. And then you kind of got that. And you can keep those lines if you want. That's just my preference. All right, so our green layer is done. Now we're going to go to blue. We're going to add a layer. We're going to hit clipping mask. Same thing. Now to get your color drop to the same exact color, you just hold down and you'll see the color changes up here to that blue. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to choose a lighter version. Same thing. Now you can do as much or as little as you want. Again, you just want to get those black lines covered on the outside. Okay, now we're ready for pink. New layer, clipping mask, same thing, hold down, change your color, and choose a whiter version. All right, so again, you can do a lot or a little. Just make sure you get rid of those lines on the side. Type for purple. Hold down. Change. And I kind of just skip around. Last layer. Again, remember clipping mask just helps so that you stay within that layer that you want to cover. Hold down. And I'm just going to get rid of all that. Now, that was a lot, so I'm going to start with the outside. Looks like my lines are covered. And if you wanted less, you could just make your brush smaller. All right, so that's going to be just about the final look, except we're going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this layer off. Now, so this bottom layer here is that outside circle that you see, right? We didn't erase that because we only erased within the other layers. You could delete it if you wanted to, but I like to just sort of hide, just to see if maybe there's something that you want to use it for. You know, at this point, typically what I do is duplicate this file because maybe you want to use it for other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my gallery. I'm going to select this piece and I'm going to duplicate it. And the reason for that is because now I'm going to go ahead and add some things to this, but I want to keep this circle clean and clear without merging anything, just in case I want to use it for something else. All right, so now we've got everything here, and I'm going to go ahead and merge this. Now, when you merge layers, all you need to do is hold and bring together. Whoop, I'm going to undo that. Trying to get it all in one. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge the colors. You want to make sure your colors stay together. Once you can fit them all in one piece here, then you can just merge them together. Okay, now it's all one, and you can change this, turn it, you know, all that good stuff. Okay, so once you do that, there's no more changing individual lines without potentially touching the others. So you want to make sure that you're happy with it the way that it is before you merge those. And if you realize, you know what, I'm not, you can just hit undo, and you can undo those, unmerge those layers, okay? But I think we're pretty good. So that's your retro circle. At this point, you can do, you know, whatever you want with it. Let's say you want to put a palm tree over it. Right? Maybe you're thinking, well, I'm not really good at drawing palm trees. So you can pull one in from somewhere. You'll see this has a white background. Alright, so if you've ever wondered how people trace within Procreate, just want to make it big enough, it's easy to trace. You're going to create a layer above this. If you want it to be black, you pick your black pen. You want to make sure you change your brush. Again, I like to use inking for tracing and things like that. And you're literally just going to trace this, you know, as roughly or as neatly as you want, depending on what you're looking for. If you make a mistake, you can just undo. You just want to make sure that as well as you can see that there's no disconnects. You want everything to be connected so that when you fill it, it doesn't go to fill your whole screen. And this is literally just tracing. Oh, see, my hand just clicked it, so it undid it. Just gonna redo. And this is rough right now. We can make changes once we fill it in if there's anything that we don't like. My pen just skipped a little bit there. A lot of people have asked if you need an Apple Pencil with Procreate. I think there are different versions, but I will tell you, like, I love my Apple Pencil. I think it's like writing with a pen. It's really nice. It's definitely worth it if you plan on doing things like this. All right, so I think I'm good with holes, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to fill this. So I'm gonna drag, so just drag that color. And I didn't fill my whole thing, which means that it's fine. So now I'm just gonna erase this layer and delete it. And there I have my tree. All right, so now I can make this bigger than my circle. If I want it to be bigger, I can make it fit inside my circle. If you want to make it transparent, you can click on this N here and you can bring the opacity down. You can kind of do different things with the color. You can, you know, there's all these different things you can do here. This is opacity. Never used this. Nothing's opening up there. Don't worry about those another day. So, but you can, oh, so it just kind of cut off where the lines was. So that's what just happened. All right, let's go back. So the color burn, I'm gonna undo that so you can see it. Maybe you saw it when it was going. All right, so see how the lines, the tree goes over those white lines. As soon as I hit that, I'm gonna undo all of that. Okay. So that color burn got rid of the black where the lines were. So I'm gonna undo that. And you can just kind of explore and see what these different things do. Color dodge, just got rid of that. But so lots of different things. And then this is where we can go in. I was talking before about these tools here. So you can play around, there's different blurs. You can blur the tree. You can, you know, lots of different things to play around with. You know, totally. So many cool features within Procreate. So I would just suggest sort of creating something, and then once you have layers and you have images to play with, you can, you know, play around with them. So you can change colors if you want to change like tints and things like that. So that kind of like has a bluish green tint to it. But so many different things. The next thing that I wanted to share So if you want to put this on a shirt, you just go ahead and make sure you move that background. And then you would just save this as a PNG. I prefer PNGs over anything else. The quality is going to be better. And then you can print this from your computer. I know some people print from their iPads, but I prefer from my computer. And then you're good to go. So I want to show you that video playback that I was talking about, so that time-lapse replay. And this just literally quickly goes through everything that we just did. And there we have it. So I hope that you found this helpful. We kind of covered a little bit about layers, merging, clipping mask. So yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you found it helpful and want to see more like it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great day.